Welcome to the first of a tradition. We have our Powerful Women Today live year-end takeaway wrap up with two of the most amazing colleagues anybody can dream of. We have today Marlanne Doss, attorney partner at Aon Law, and Rosanna Lamanna, of course, our CPA partner at Fuller Landau. So, ladies, we're going to discuss our biggest takeaway and get ready for a 2022 full of prosperity and joy and reflection of lessons learned. So let's get to it.
Empowering women on a global scale. Welcome to Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. Powerful Women Today is on a mission of inclusion, rewriting his story to include her story, and empowering, raising, and amplifying women's voices with professional speaking, publishing, original podcasting, and web TV. And now here's your host, the founder of Powerful Women Today, Carolina Billings.
Hey, ladies, what a year! This is a year that won't end to the very last minute. My goodness, talk about recovery, talk about setbacks, talk about, just when we were starting to see light at the end of the tunnel, somebody said, not just yet. So we came together, we've had a fabulous year, sharing our insights and knowledge, and you guys are so generous as top level professionals, always dispensing incredible advice to our women world family and friends at Powerful Women Today. It's funny, we when we first were speaking about this show, which now will happen every single year, and actually we're having several takeaways as we close our year. We said, okay, think of the top 3 takeaways. And as we were warming up for the show, it turned out the 3 of us had the same topic in a slight different version, which goes to show you, right? What we've been through has been a universal experience. Mm-hmm. And I cannot wait to get started. So Marlanne, we're going to start with you because you always lead the charge. So what are some of your biggest takeaways? And we'll this is a fluid, discussion because our topics are so similar. We might as well just weave them all through and talk about our perspective of that takeaway. Go ahead.
Sure. So I think the first one relates to all the events that have happened with me professionally in the last year. There's been a lot of changes. And what it's shown me is, even though there's a pandemic and unfortunately a lot of businesses were not succeeding. And if you look around you, the message that you could easily get is this is not the time. Mm-hmm. So one of my biggest takeaways was if you've planned for it and you believe in it and it's meant to be, then any time is your time. It doesn't matter what else is going on around you. It's been an eventful year for my partner and I. We've done a lot. We've entered into a rental agreement on an office when people are giving away their office spaces. We've partnered, we've grown our team, and we've done a lot of things that other people would look probably from the outside and say, "Are you crazy? This is not the time," And thankfully, it's been great. It's been great. We have a long way to go, but it's we're very proud of our accomplishments in the last year, and we're really looking forward to next year to continue it.
What we were mentioning when you and I were discussing, by the way, those are beautiful offices, and there's the investment, right? It's that optimism. It's like you're building, and expanding. And what we were saying is especially for businesses that might not be doing well, right? Or that are cautiously, of course, we look to Rosanna for the cautiousness. That are thinking, I want to expand, I want to move forward, I have these plans, right? Yeah. What I love about what you did, Marlanne, is that you expanded, but you didn't go at it alone. You
Yes.
partner up with somebody that complemented your suite of offerings in personality, and and that you knew well, because that's another big takeaway that Rosanna and I have discussed through the year, is that be careful, like hire slow, fire fast, right? Like be
Yes.
careful whom you partner up with. But
Yes.
you navigated that so smoothly that I definitely want us to go back and discuss it further and break it down for our audience. But the biggest takeaway is, and it lines up with what I was thinking, which is
Mhm.
entrepreneurship is big risk, big reward. But that doesn't mean that it has to be reckless risk,
That's right.
right? There is calculated risk for a bigger reward. And and I suffer from it, that sometimes I have difficult time. I want to keep my business mind and and hold on to it, right? But 100% of little is still 100% of little, opposite
Yeah.
you really having an open mind, open heart, that by working together you may, yes, have a smaller percentage of a bigger pie, right? So
Yes.
it's really about opening hearts and minds and understanding that with entrepreneurship comes risk, and don't risk what you cannot afford to lose.
That's right.
Simple as that,
Yes.
right? So Rosanna, I turn to you on the same, you know, thought process. You had come up with a complementary, because it's
Yeah.
a lawyer and accountant, and I don't know what I am anymore. But anyways, do
Yeah,
we see the cross sectionality of each of these points? So go
for
ahead.
sure. Yeah, so when I look back, sort of even at the last year or so, like even thinking back to January 2020, we were in a totally different world. I know it seems so far away. I think a lot of us intentionally tried to forget what was happening at that time of year. So but like, I still remember as being a mom of two young kids and a professional, trying to sort of have that juggling act between, serving your clients and worrying about your family, and had a lot of discussions with other business owners, especially females, and some of the trials and tribulations that the pandemic has put forward on them. And I look back and I've seen a lot of women and had a lot of discussions with them around, there was some that were very big on, the corporate life, and that was it for them. But I think the pandemic gave them an opportunity to sort of revisit and maybe more closely align, their career with maybe some of their values. Because there's a
Or
bit of
you've forgotten, or you've forgotten what you were missing.
yeah, you just kind of start thinking about, well, I've got my family now that I need to deal with. I've got kids at home that I need to deal with. And maybe that, going to the office every day 9 to 5 is not the thing for me anymore. And so there was a lot of women that were kind of revisiting their, current state of the world and with their career and their passions. And I found a lot of women turn to entrepreneurship as an opportunity to sort of do and follow, do the things they love to do, follow their passions, while not having to sort of succumb to just sort of that corporate life. The virtual world has almost opened some doors for them because they're able to work from home. They're able to get the reach that they need. They're able to, still work, care for kids, and, kind of juggle that
Have the
maybe in a
best of
different
all
way.
worlds. You know what is so? Two thoughts come to mind as I hear you speak, and I know you really well, and you're a high, top-notch, elite professional, and I know you're a great mom, because I hear the conversation. Oh, the two of you are amazing moms. Two of them little. Mine is taller than me, and I was married by the time his age is now. So is now I'm learning how to be like another stage of parenting, right? Like letting go and just like, learn to keep quiet and just let them learn. But in the process of us conversing, through our friendship and through our professional collaborations, I know you guys are amazing moms. And one of the things that came to mind as I was listening to you, Roseanne, is that if anybody had come to any of these professional women, 2 years ago and said, in the near future, you're going to be this teaching, doing all these things at once, everybody would have gone, are you crazy? Like, it's not possible.
Yeah.
And guess what? It is. And
We
one of
did
the
it.
incredible things, yeah, because you know what? We've been through so many generations, and we can almost tell who went through that generation, that generation where we were like latch kids, and in that generation where you had two parents, then that generation that was raised, 50% by a single parent, single income, right? So we've all been through those, it's like pockets, right? In the passage of time. And I love the fact that the current hybrid model, right, has really challenged a lot of the constructs that we believe that were the key to success. Putting in that 60-hour work week, 70-hour work week, right? Whoever was there, the first one at the office, the last one to leave, first one to arrive, last one to leave. And I love your quote, and I'm going to hereby decree it a hashtag family first. And there's no apology for it. It shouldn't be an either or, right? And I love the fact that women, as you said, maybe not every day, right? Like, but a lot more than before, kids don't have to come home to an empty home, right? Like, even if a parent's working, at least there's a parent there, right? So I think we're just at the cusp of this incredible humanizing, right? Is, people are becoming more independent. They're not having to have someone else dictate when you need to work, how much you need to earn, what's good, what's bad. With it comes a lot of maturity of the workforce as well, as you transition, one benefit for another, working for someone. And by the way, that is something we touched on too. And that having a job is not a bad word. You can still be a successful, professional entrepreneur in charge of your career, working for someone else. Like Rosanna, you work for, top accounting firms in the city, right? And you still have managed to negotiate and negotiate is not the right word, navigate the serving someone else's agenda per se, because when you work for a corporation, they have their own goals and their own priorities, while holding true to your own. And that is so courageous that most women feel that they don't have a voice to say, you know what, these are my boundaries, right, as I serve. So in the process, so in this brand new world that we don't know what the rules are, we're all figuring out as we go. You and I were saying that for all these high-powered women, right, that are now having the ability to have a hybrid model, one of the considerations in the cautiousness is to make sure that corporations, right, keep and build really more so than keep a culture of inclusion, that it doesn't become an out of sight, out of mind. So what are some of you work for a very progressive organization, a very good, organization. What are some of the things, and I'm putting you on the spot because we haven't discussed this, but it's important, and I don't want to leave this topic without addressing some of the potential, caveats for us to keep an eye on, right? How are we making sure that women that are now able to stay at home and to do more, right, with this hybrid model, that their career doesn't suffer because of it?
Yeah, I think, to be quite honest, I don't know if I know the answer to it, but I think it's our careers is what we make of them, right? And I think if we are the ones who, know what we're looking to get out of our careers, we carve our own path at the end of the day. And if you're not carving your own path and someone else is telling you the path you're going to need to, walk on or run on, then I don't know that you'll ever be successful, because you're always going to be sort of catching up to
someone.
Yeah, or following someone else's path or someone else's dream. I think you need to follow your own, and it's finding the right organization that aligns well with your values, what you're looking for, how you like to work, having the flexibility that you need, having the autonomy that you need to be able to actually succeed in your own career. because I think that's where it comes from. So when I go back to think of your comment about, celebrities and how much we admire them because they follow their dreams, we need to follow our dreams. We need to, we do what we do because we love doing it. Like I know I do what I do because I love helping people. Although I'm labeled as an accountant or a CPA, I don't see it as debits and credits. That's not my world. My world is how can I help you? How can I make your life better? How can I share insight and knowledge with you so that you succeed and you grow? And to be honest, when I see, my clients growing and succeeding, to me, that's the ultimate, I'm going to say that, feel good about what I do, and keeps me going and waking up every morning, just knowing that you're helping somebody and supporting them. So I just feel that that's super important to our careers. And so you carve your own path is sort of my takeaway to working with anybody. And even if you're an entrepreneur, you carve your path as to maybe other organizations you want to collaborate with or partner with to help you succeed in your goals. So it doesn't matter if you're working for someone or for yourself. Figure out what that path looks like, and don't be afraid to bring others in and walk alongside you through your path.
That's right. Yeah, we were talking about that. How if you find a sweet spot, which I believe Powerful Women Today strives for, and I know in my heart and mind, I know what this organization stands for, and I pray that it translates the way that I mean it to the actual everyday practice. But one of our mandates is independent but not isolated. Is that's where you come here, and you're part of a collective, but you're still your own woman. You're still doing your own practice, and you're still doing all these things. But I want to go back to something you just said, which I see it from the outside looking at you guys, is that the two of you are a role model for the new face of traditional professions, such as the lawyer and an accountant. So there's a lot of constructs that people have as to what they represent, right? It's like there's always, the compliance, policing, difficult debits and credits, or lawsuits, or all of these like icky portion that we only want to deal with when we have to. When the two of you, like, I cannot begin to be able to translate to the audience the commitment that the two of you have to bringing in coaching, bringing in a way to relate, a way to care, a way to go beyond. Like, it's almost as if law and accounting is only a portion of what you bring to the table. You know what I mean? And this is what we need for the future of many industries. Accounting and law being one of them, but also I know the financial industry is brutal, when it comes to the relationship with women. And that's just one. Like, there's many more, right? And we need to start seeing a more human face to those professions, right? For the sake of everyone, for the sake of the client and the professional. So I just didn't want to let that go. So one of the other takeaways that we discussed is from this year is that, get comfortable with uncertainty and get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because change is the constant. And not only change, but fast change, right? And you need to have contingencies when it comes to your profession. And this is why it's good to come out of your profession and discuss to see what is happening across, the expanding supply chain, right? Because when you tend to gravitate only with your profession, you can begin to commiserate on the changing world and the hardship, or how you're hard done by the new economy or the new way that people are doing things. And it may also reaffirm old constructs, right? We've seen it a lot within the speaking industry. Powerful Women Today has our speaker association and bureau, one of our subsidiaries, and I hear it in our conversations with speakers all the time. Paid speakers that the world suddenly changed on them. Paid speakers that now, or events in organizations that are planning these events are now, because of hybrid model, they now have access to talent that before they would have never dreamed of, right? So now it's like no big issue for a big name like Michelle Obama to appear convocation after convocation after convocation, because it's all virtual. And you know what? And she's so generous with her time and spirit that before she would not been able to travel all over the place. Well, by bringing Michelle Obama, that displaces other people, right? That also want to be paid speakers, that also want to, make a full 100% living out of speaking fees. But that world has changed. And you really need to open your heart and mind to see, how do you change so that you stay relevant, so that you stay still able to derive an income out of your passion. So yes, follow your dream, but you also have to have a business mind to it. And that's where working with these two lovely ladies, and be part of an organization like Powerful Women Today, it makes all the difference in the world. And I know this is a plug, but I am telling you, now more than ever, going at it alone it just doesn't make sense, In
And it's not necessary.
It is not necessary. Yeah. Thank you for that.
I was just going to say, one of the my other takeaways for this year, that kind of piggybacks on what you're saying right now, is I've seen, sometimes you feel like it's just you that wants to embrace other professionals and work with them and be collaborative and stuff. But what I've seen in the last year is that there's a lot more of us that are actually like-minded, that do believe that, somebody else doesn't have to fail in order for you to succeed. That's that we can all pull, if one person pulls the other person up, then we can all get there and we can all succeed. And it's been really nice to see that more women, but generally speaking, other professionals, other people in general, there's a lot more of us that are like-minded that way than there are people that are not, that want to stand alone and want to go at it alone, and are a little bit more vicious, for lack of a better word.
I read a quote from somebody, and I don't know who it is, but it's not mine, that said, I'm not competing with you because I'm rooting for you.
Right. Exactly.
Right? It's a new mindset. Like those days of competition, especially among women, we don't have the luxury to put each other down. You know what I mean? And you mentioned one big takeaway, and I do want us to spend, due time on it, and that is of mental health.
Yes,
Marlanne, you mentioned the importance of mental health for women, especially successful women.
Yeah, this year has been tough on a lot of people for so many reasons. There's some people that have just experienced a lot of loss, whether it's losing loved ones, whether it's losing a job, whether it's,
losing their business,
financial insecurity. There's been a lot. And even for parents, their children, a lot of children have been suffering it and are suffering during this pandemic. And one of the big takeaways for me for this year is just watching that all around, and people closer to me, people further away from me, and you just hear stories constantly, the importance of health in general, but definitely mental health. And there's a lot of people that there's still a stigma around a lot of it. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't reach out for help when they should be. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that stigma, continues to be fought against and broken. But the importance of mental health. If you don't have your mental health, what do you have? You can have all the riches, but if you can't enjoy it and you don't want to get out of bed or whatever it is, or it's just it's a brutal struggle. So, my thoughts are definitely with anybody who's going through it, but I encourage all of us, including myself, to talk to the people that you need to, whenever you need to, before you get to that point of desperation. And if you're there, then reach out. It
doesn't too late, right? If you're breathing, it's not too late.
That's right.
It's pretty much that.
You don't have to stay where you are. And there's a lot of us, there's a lot of people that are struggling with mental health in one way or the other. They may not even recognize it, because it's not spoken about enough. But it's such a fragile part of us, and we really need to pay attention to it.
You know what? And this is dark, and I don't mean to end on a dark note, but I will share it because, just my shadow. One of my favorite books is Kafka's Metamorphosis.
Mm.
And the reason for it is someone disappearing in front of everyone's eyes, right? And um, I cannot think of a better metaphor for people who are disappearing in front of our very own eyes because they're not reaching out, because they may not even understand what they're going through, right? And this is where it's so important to belong, right, to an active community. And if you have community, you got hope, you know.
Mhm.
Even with us, like I'll send emails just when someone goes quiet, or they don't appear our masterminds as often enough, or their patterns have changed. We'll reach out and go, is everything okay, right? And as a stakeholder, but a peer stakeholder, not involved in whatever is happening, right? It feels good that someone notices that you might be fading, right? And it's so super important that, whenever there's a tragedy that happens to someone, and, the people around them is like, oh, we did not see the signs. We just didn't see it coming, right? But the truth is that the signs are there. It's just we're sometimes so busy, right? Or
Or we
because
don't know.
I was going to say we don't know how to recognize them, or because we're
Mhm.
seeing people in every day, you don't notice the changes, right? Because they're happening so little. But it's so important that we do check on each other, that we do say, are you okay? Is everything okay? And even if that person just says, no, I'm not, they don't need to
Yeah.
disclose what's going on. They just need to be able to say to someone, I am not, but I will be. I am not, but and the best thing to do at that point is, what can I do, right? And let that person tell you what they need from you. And it may be just like a check in on me in 2 days, or check in on me once a week, or whatever, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's so important, and it doesn't matter what level of success you're at, because
Yeah.
when you're at the top, it's difficult to find the audience or the time to say, hey, I'm not okay. Sorry, I interrupted. You were saying?
No, you and I were thinking the exact same thing. I just wanted to say, like, I hope that everybody has the courage to say I'm not
Exactly.
okay. I sometimes feel, especially those in, I'm going to say higher positions or leadership roles, always kind of feel like they have to have a certain face or front to them, and that, they have to internalize everything. And honestly, it's not. Be true to yourself and seek help if you really need it. You can't be all things to all people. And that's okay. It's so, to me, I'm more concerned about the ones that, everything looks great on the outside, or they're able to put on that front every day, when deep inside they've got these internal struggles, and they have no one to talk to. Because sometimes even business owners, they don't have, maybe others to speak with, and it can get lonely at the top. And so, go to your advisors, go to trusted professionals, or go to, your trusted friends or family, and have a conversation, and just, talking about it, I think sometimes just helps in general to kind of get you to where you need to be. So,
Yeah.
I think
And
I don't know if that's where you were going with it, but that was what I was thinking when you were speaking.
absolutely. There was a mastermind this year, because we check in weekly, right? And there's so many other activities that we do together, as part of, again, independent, to advance your business, but collectively, right? That we do it together. And it was this one mastermind that we got together, and we're speaking doctors, we're speaking like top level, professionals that are the mentor experts of our women today. And we all showed up because we do, right? And then as the meeting began, it went south pretty fast. Like, it was just silliness and laughing and giggling, but almost hysterical giggling. It was borderline a little scary. But you know what? It was what we all needed. And we got nothing accomplished during that meeting except the release,
Yes.
right? Except the, God, I needed to laugh. Like, we were in tears laughing, and I'm sure it wasn't even that funny. We kind of had to be there. But this is where working, when you're part of an organization, you have that benefit of culture, you got that benefit of camaraderie. when you're an independent business owner, you don't often get that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So find your community. It may not be Powerful Women Today. You know, it may be a different one. Like, we're not, you know, the solution for everyone. Not everyone fits into our model. But find a community that works for you. You know, don't go at it alone. I think that's the biggest takeaway, right?
Yeah.
Family first. Love it. Hashtag from now on. And also be courage and don't go at it alone. Go for it, but don't go at it alone. That's
Mm-hmm.
my takeaway from Marlene. And of course, always keep learning and always be humble and don't take yourself too seriously. And
Yeah.
know that, you know what, if you make a mistake, take the lesson out the luggage and just move forward. Get comfortable with discomfort. That is my takeaway. There are no guarantees. If you want a guarantee, buy a toaster, right? Life, like, imagine how horrible life would be if everything was predictable. If you knew that everything you did was to work out okay, right? Like, where's the growth in that? Is not knowing what's going to happen. And it just happens that that fuels personalities like mine, the change in uncertainty and excitement. But there's room for everybody to learn the skills, to know how to embrace it and cope with it so that it doesn't become a mental, you know, stressor along the way. And be prepared and stay together, stay positive, keep laughing, and most of all, know what's important in your life. So thank you, ladies. This was amazing. I wish we could do more often, but we'll do it again, the wrap up next year. And we have an exciting 2022 planned for all of our members and friends and family and audience. And here we are looking for growth, looking for prosperity. And by the way, that's our word, hashtag prosperity for 2022. Stay strong, stay happy. See you soon.
Thank you. Happy holidays and Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year and happy holidays. Thank you, Carolina.
Yeah, thank you.
Empowering women on a global scale. This has been Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. To learn more about how you can join and transform your life and the lives of women everywhere with professional speaking, publishing, podcasting, and web TV, visit powerfulwomentoday.com. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, YouTube,